Okay, important point. Setting up the wedge station on the floor, or for any stations, grip mats on these slippery floors. Kids can easily run, the mats are going to slide, so wherever possible, always use your grip mats with your mats. So I'm going to set up the wedge mat, over the grip mat, and then I'm going to make sure the Velcro from this mat is secured tightly to the Velcro on the wedge mat. That way, if you're playing games at the start and the kids run over the mats, they're not going to slide from under them. Okay, wedge mat station. If you've got it set up on the floor, really good for beginners how to teach a proper forward roll. So we want them stood on the mat. Complete beginner, never done a forward roll before. Show me a star shape. We're going to bend our knees, fold the star in half, hands by our feet, and we're going to tuck our head between our legs, and they will naturally roll down the mat. Children that are scared to roll, never done a forward roll before, that's how we're going to teach it. Wide legs, star, bend down low, hands by your feet, look between your legs, over the top. So always use the green mat when you're first teaching a backward roll for the forward roll for the first time. If you want to spot them, you can just help them tuck their head underneath them and give them a little push to get them going into the roll for confidence. You might want to, when they're comfortable with that, add on some of the other rolling at the end so it makes it a fun station. So we're going to do a forward roll down the mat. When we get to the bottom, we're going to add a jump half twist, and then we're going to try our shoulder balance, roll and stand up. So we're doing a bit of rolling movement in both directions. Or we might want to go, we're going to do our forward roll down the mat, stretch up nicely at the end. Now we're going to do our sausage roll. Forward roll, sausage roll. So we've got two rolling activities in one station. Also for beginners, they haven't quite mastered the bridge on the floor. So when we're in the warm-up, we're doing the bridge work, they can't get their head off the mat and they're going like this instead. So we're saying do a bridge and they get stuck, they can't do it. So they go like this, that's fine. But to actually teach them how to do the bridge properly, we're going to get them on the incline mat because it makes it a lot easier. So we're going to get them to lay down, hand positions, hands pointing towards the feet, elbows into the ears, and now it should be easier for them to get their head off the mat. Really important in the bridge, we don't want them on their head. So we want to encourage them to tuck their chin on their chest and lower themselves down slowly. So we're learning how to push up to bridge, but we're also learning how to come down safely. So elbows into ears, try and get the head off the mat, tuck the head in, down onto the shoulders. Moving into the backward roll. So beginner backward roll hands, even in the warm-up. We can do rocking and tuck in the warm-up, holding our knees. Okay, but we can also do backward roll hands. So they're learning to rock and get their hands on the mat, ready to push on them. So that way we're just using it throughout the session. So when we come to try the backward roll, it's going to be a lot easier. We want them sitting on the mat. A lot of them will be like in this shape. No, we want a ball shape. Be round like a football. Tuck your head in. Backward roll hands. They're probably just going to get to their knees to start with. And then from there, as they get confident with that, then we can move to the feet in the squat or the straddle position. So, hands ready, and push. Push, that time we made it to the straddle shape. If they're not quite getting the hands, we can just do a shoulder roll so they get used to going backwards without having to push over their head. So for a shoulder roll, we can still get the hands ready, but we're going to go over a shoulder. And again, we can do that on the floor mats too. Shoulder roll. We're in tuck, roll, over your shoulder. So shoulder rolls are again a little beginner way before they get into the backward roll. As they get more advanced, we move into advanced arm positions. So beginner rolls are like this, trying to get to the tuck or the straddle shape at the end. At the advanced level, we want them with straight arms, with their hands pointing towards each other. So they might practice that by doing a drill on the mat where they just go shoulder balance, press the arms into the mat. So they're getting used to keeping their arms straight. And then we might try and finish in a front support position. So backward rolls with straight arms into front support. We can still do our push at the start. And then they can switch their hands forwards as they come out. And even more advanced, they can press up to handstand. But I think that's probably advanced enough. Also, intermediate advanced skills, trying to get the tick-tock. Again, the wedge is making it a lot easier to get that skill. So early stages, handstand into a bridge position. Really important, we want their hands on the green mat because we don't want the mat sliding away, hands and feet. So hands on the green mat. Again, if we don't want to overextend the wrist too much, it's okay if they turn the wrist out a little bit when they do these activities to stop that overstretch. So that's what this would look like. Oh my goodness, I can't do it. They land in bridge, they kick back again. So handstand, kick back. So that's the early stages of learning how to do front walkovers. We don't do back walkovers at class. We don't do much back to bridge work either because I've seen too much in gymnastics. High level, well-conditioned gymnasts break their arms because they weren't focused going back into a bridge. And kids love doing it. The flexible ones, they want to do it. But we actually, no, in the class. If we're going to do walkover work, it's always handstand into the bridge, it's forwards work. We're not going to encourage going back into bridges. At a very base level, using the green wedge mat, standing on it with a coach spotting, guiding them back slowly, is the only way we're going to do back to bridge. Because it's too easy, too much risk, broken elbows. Okay, so the wedge mat is, let's recap. Beginners, we're looking at getting how to get that beginner forward roll, also using the sausage roll, the shoulder balancing connection for them. So beginner work, stick to those rolling skills. Or the basics on how to do a bridge. So if they're not quite getting their bridges on the floor, great place to get them in a bridge for the first time. Intermediate level, we are looking at the backward rolls down the mat, beginner hands, more advanced hands, and the handstand into bridge, kick back, preparing for forward walkovers, getting that shoulder flexibility that's needed for the front handsprings on the mat. So we would say, you know, if you want to achieve a front handspring on the air track, you would be expected to be able to do a handstand into the bridge and kick back over again. Great, that is our wedge station. The wedge is actually used a lot on the soft mat too, for the dive rolls and the front flips and things, so we will incorporate that later.